Hi everyone, this is my first video in English on this channel. I decided to get back into video making because I have a lot to share these days, and I'm going to be making videos in French, English, Spanish, a little bit of Arabic, hopefully at some point Portuguese as well. So today's going to be in English, and there will always be subtitles. You can activate them at the bottom. So today I want to share how and why I'm learning Arabic. So first, I'll start by saying, for those of you who know a bit about like the Arabic dialect chaos, I'm learning Levantine Arabic, which is the dialect spoken in Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Palestine. And first, as to how, so basically, I started with private lessons, maybe 2 or 3 times a week for a month before moving to Jordan. And I started with like things, to describe how I feel, who I am, what I like doing, and like very basic getting to know someone new content, right? Like just so I could meet new people and ask them where they're from and what they do for a living and that kind of stuff. And then I went into more like conjugation of the verbs, and I started with, again, very useful verbs. Like I didn't go and learn the whole freaking dictionary, right? But I learned, maybe, I don't know, I'd say a dozen, maybe 15 very useful verbs that I could use every day. Because when you think of it, if you analyze your own language, we use a lot of want, need, um, be, have, and go, and work, maybe. Like, we use a lot of the same verbs. So I focused on those at first. And then when I moved to Jordan, I started writing down every single word that I was learning. So at first, I would write it in like English, kind of like, English letters, like phonetic, how it sounded phonetically. And then slowly I would try and find the Arabic script spelling and kind of learn to read and write through that. Um, and yeah, and then whenever I would have a conversation with someone, I'd be the most annoying person because I'd be like in the middle of my sentence. And I knew that I had heard this word before. I knew it's in my notebook. So I'd be like, right, stanna, like wait. And I would go and look for my words just so I would kind of make my brain look for it, kind of thing. And it's been really useful. Like I feel like I've learned very fast. And so after 2.5 months, I was, fairly conversational. I mean, obviously I can't chat about very complicated things, but just like everyday things, what I'm doing, where I'm going, and what I want to do, or like things that happen to me that are quite simple, was fine. My pronunciation is absolutely horrible, but people understand me, so I'm guessing it's still okay. And then since I left Jordan, I've been focusing on more proactive studying, not just like using things that are around me, but more like looking for new vocabulary and for new conversation. So I have a new teacher on italki, and I'm also using these 3 books: Palestinian verbs, Levantine vocabulary, something, and then colloquial Arabic. I'll link the three of them, in the description, because they're really good. And so basically what I do is I try to prepare some sentences for my italki sessions, which I do maybe 3 or 4 times a week, depending on my workload. And I try to prepare, like, to make sentences before by using the conjugation from the Palestinian verb and kind of looking for new words in these like dictionary, and also maybe some new expressions in the colloquial book. So with all of that, I have all of 3 of them open, and I kind of go looking for words in one or the other. And then I confirm with my teacher that it's correct. And usually there are mistakes, and he kind of corrects me or gives me a better word that is more accurate. And yeah, that's how we do it. And then I try to take all this new vocabulary, I try to make it into Enki flashcards and practice them, just to really do the whole like space repetition kind of thing, where my brain will forget after a day, but if I reactivate it, then it'll forget after 2 days, and so on, right? And then the thing I started doing recently, because I was really, really struggling with understanding spoken Arabic and reading Arabic. And so I started using LinkU. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I started using that. And it's basically an app where you can read stories or transcriptions or stuff. And it's really good because you can color code the words that you already know, and the ones that you don't know, you can look for the translation, and you can say, yes, I know this one, or I kind of know it. And like, it's really good. But I found the content to be a little bit like not really my interest. Like, it's not bad, it's just that I'm not really interested in it. And I also found this other podcast called Real Arabic, which talks about like the history of Lebanon and Syria and the very modern like problematics and problems and stuff. And I think that's super interesting, but obviously it's way too complicated for me to understand everything. So what I did was I imported the transcript of these podcasts into LinkU app. And I study both at the same time. That way I get the spelling and the reading of it, while also getting the listening on the other side. So for now, it's working really good. So I have these lessons with my teacher, and I have this more reading and listening activity. So for now is going great, and I would really recommend doing the same if you're just starting out, because really I see my progress. Like, it's really amazing. And then as to why I'm learning it, so first, because I think it's like one of the most beautiful languages. Like, it might not sound always extremely smooth. Like, obviously some dialects are a bit harsher, like the sounds are a bit harsher than others. But it's more the meaning of the words that I found beautiful. You know, like how to say good morning is sabah el khair, but then the answer could be like morning of light, morning of roses, morning of honey. Like, it's just, you know, there are all these tiny colloquial expressions that I find just so beautiful. And I don't know, it's just so nice. And then also, I think it's a very interesting language. You know, it's a very different script, and it's very complex and rich, and there's so much history linked to it. And I don't know, I really love that. And then also, obviously, you know, being French, my country has a very complicated past with most Arabic speaking countries. And so I feel like, you know, I don't feel it's my duty, but I feel like it means a lot to me. Like, it's important to me to be able to speak Arabic and to travel to places where we have a common history, and it's really not a pretty one. So that's why I think it's important to be able to speak, you know, other people's language and try to connect with them, because it might not be the fact that it might not be like all my vocabulary that allows me to connect more with people, but the fact that I try to speak Arabic that allows me to connect. And I don't know, I just saw a massive difference when I went to Jordan, you know, a couple of weeks ago. I left Jordan, and when I was there, it was like just people were, you know, super happy that I was just learning their language. And even though sometimes the conversation would have to switch back to English after a few sentences, it was still really cool, because I don't know, it's like I just imagine someone coming to France and wanting to learn French, and I would immediately be more inclined to like help them out or chat with them, even though their French is maybe very bad. But still, you know, it's I think it just creates bridges between cultures. And right now, especially in France, with the current political climate, we really need bridges between different cultures. And for me, that's a very important thing to do as a French person. And I'm not saying that all French people should do it, but like for me personally, it means a lot. And I really love this language. So, you know, it doesn't feel very hard. So yeah, that's it for Arabic language. I will do another video to explain the whole dialect, MSA, classic, literary, chaos. And I will see you very soon. Bye.